Hello everybody. Good afternoon students. In last period we had studied about the cytology in relation to taxonomy. Now today we are studying about the palynology in relation to taxonomy. But we must know what is palynology. Palynology is nothing but the study of pollen grain. Okay, study of pollen grain. And how these pollen grains are useful in the taxonomy. Okay, we are studying one by one. Listen now. Okay, now the science of palynology or study of pollen morphology deals with this detailed study of pollen grain. Detailed study of pollen grain. Pollen grain is also known as microspore. Okay, palynology deals with the detailed study of the pollen grain. Now that is the microscope of the spermatophyta, particularly of angiosperms. Okay, particularly of the angiosperm, that is nothing but the microspore. It mainly deals with the structure, wall, etc. of the pollen grain. Okay, structure of the wall pollen grain म्हणजे त्या pollen grain मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला पुंकेशन म्हणतो. पुंकेशनवरचं वॉल कसं आहे, आवरण कसं आहे, याच्याबद्दल पूर्णपणे स्टडी करणं म्हणजे दॅट इज द पेलिनॉलॉजी. Palynological studies help in the confirmation of relationship and affinities between the related taxa. ह्या पोलन ग्रेनची स्टडी कशासाठी करायची, पुंकेसरची स्टडी कशासाठी करायची की रिलेटेड टॅक्झामध्ये दोन रिलेटेड टॅक्झा जे आहेत प्लॅन्ट आहेत त्याच्यामधलं रिलेशनशिप काय आहे हे दर्शवण्यासाठी पोलन ग्रेनचा आपल्याला अभ्यास करायचा. अफिनिटी काय आहेत, ओके, त्याच्यासाठी अभ्यास करायचा. दी पोलन ग्रेन्स ऑफ रिलेटेड फॅमिलीज अँड जनरा आर युजली मोर ऑर लेस सेम. रिलेटेड फॅमिलीमधले किंवा रिलेटेड जनरामधले जे काही प्लॅन्ट्स आहेत त्यांचे पोलन ग्रेन जवळपास सारखे असतात, त्यामुळे त्याचं स्टडी करणं गरजेचं आहे. ओके, देन दी स्कल्पचर अँड दी pollen grain and the pattern of the outer wall exine, number of aperture, wall size and shape of the pollen grain help in the taxonomy. The sculpture, then number of the pollen grain, size, shape, number of pores, that all these characters help in the formation of taxonomy, relationship of the help in the taxonomy. Now what is meant by pollen grain? Listen here, listen. This is nothing but the pollen grain which may be rounded oval structure. Okay, it has two layer, outer layer and inner layer. Outer layer is known as exine, inner layer is known as entine. Okay, and there are the spines, pores also there, pore, nucleus, okay, entine, cytoplasm and so on. Such type of the pollen grains are there. It is also known as a microscope. Sometimes outer wall is exine, which is thick, inner layer is entine, which is thin. Outer layer may be smooth, okay, inner layer is thin, no doubt. Here, but in this diagram, outer layer looking like the spiny, which is nothing but the pollen grain of the hibiscus. Okay, now the mature pollen grains usually have two walls. We had studied in the diagram. Outer is exine and inner is entine. The entine is thin and more or tender exine than the exine. Exine at first appears within the spatial wall as thin membrane. In further development, the exine thick considerably and two layers can be distinguished on its outer side, outermost of which is exine and inner is anexine. This exine is again divided into two layers, outer and inner. Outer is exine, inner is anexine. Okay, anexine. Then the exine is thin and has high refractive index and therefore it is not easily visible. Exine is thin, it is not easily visible. The surface of the exine is at first smooth, but later on, after the formation of exine, many types projection may develop on it. Due to when exine develops, exine become the projections. Okay, formation of the exine develop the projection. In the aperture regions of characteristic shape of the pollen grain come to the exine may be completely warting or it may be represented as an exine, according to the Altman in 1952. Okay, now this become warty. Warty in the sense you had seen the skin of the frog, it is warty, roughness. Okay, then exine is relatively thick and cutinized. Exine is thick म्हणजे जाड असतं आणि cutinized त्याच्यावर कडक आवरण असतं. ओके, cutinized. The specific cutin is called as sporopollenin. as per the Free in 1859. This substance is more stable than cutin, and the intine is not contained thickness. It is thicker at aperture. Okay. Numerous characteristic projections and sculpturing are formed on the exine. Sculpture are formed on the exine, no doubt. In addition to the various types of the sculpturing of this exine, there are other morphological characters which are used in the classification of the pollen and also important great value in angiosperm taxonomy. Okay, so it is about the palynology. Pollen grains are apertures. ओके प्रायोड्यूड पोर पोलन ग्रेन्सवर ॲपर्चर्स छिद्रे असतात ओके त्याला पोर म्हणतो आपण ॲपर्चर्स पोझिशन व्हेअर इट मे बी लोअर अपर डिस्टल प्रॉक्झिमल अँड सो ऑन ओके शेप स्ट्रक्चर अँड नंबर ऑफ द ॲपर्चर्स आर द टॅक्झॉनॉमिक सिग्निफिकन्स ओके म्हणजे त्याचा सिग्निफिकन्स कसा आहे ॲपर्चर कसं आहे इलॉंगेटेड आहे की बोल आहे की राऊंडेड आहे किती नंबर आहे तर कोणत्या साईडला आहे या बेसवर सर्व टॅक्झॉनॉमिक सिग्निफिकन्स डिपेंड करतात. As a result of research on palynology, based on the variability of the grains, a detailed nomenclature of the structural characteristic of the pollen has been developed by which exact morphological descriptions of various pollen grains can be done accurately. Okay, identification can be done accurately. The categories of the structural morphology of the pollen that help in plant taxonomy. Okay. Such type of the structural morphology we will see in the tomorrow's period. Okay, so such type of the palynology in relation to taxonomy. What is meant by pollen grain? So pollen grain are what is meant by palynology? Palynology is nothing but the study of morphology of the pollen grain. What is the pollen grain? Pollen grain may be rounded or whole. It may be called as macrospore. It has two layer, outer layer, inner layer. Inner layer is known as intine, which is thin, outer layer is exine, but that exine again divided into two, sexine and exine, and due to when the exine develop, that it becomes the verti, roughness, spiny and so on. Okay, that pollen grain, it contains the center, there is nucleus, around the nucleus there is a cytoplasm. Okay, and this is the pollen grain of the hibiscus. Okay, we stop here. You watch the video again and again, read it clearly and draw your notes. Okay, I advise you stay safe in your home. Okay, thank you.